Hi, Gamign. Welcome back. This is Weirdness Brett. Last time I did this was like 8 months ago. But my family has a movie night every Sunday, and we just watch a movie, and I'm here to review them. The reason it's been 8 months is because right after that week, I got a call, and I have a job now, and they schedule me almost every single Sunday. But today was Easter, so I got it off. The movie we watched this week was Despicable Me 4. Now, going into this, my brother had already seen it in theaters, and he told me it was not a good movie. So when I had enough money to go to the theaters with my family, last like June or July, we had the option between Despicable Me 4 and Inside Out 2, and we picked Inside Out 2, which was the correct choice. But Despicable Me 4 wasn't actually as bad as my brother said, or as fact as even some of my other friends said. I'll go through it real quick. I'll go through the main plot, the goods and the bads. So spoiler alert if you haven't seen it. So basically, the movie begins where Gru's taking down Will Ferrell's character. I don't even fucking remember his name. And I remember watching the trailers. There was nothing associated with cockroaches. So when he turned out to be like a giant cockroach, and that was like his powers obsessed, I'm like, oh, that kind of came out of nowhere. But whatever. Um, he arrests him, and he's like, "I'll be back, Gru." And then like a day later, he goes home, and he already broke out of prison. Uh, so they need to go into hiding. And Gru's just like not really apologetic to his kids about it. He's like, yeah, kind of sucks to suck, but let's go. That actually brings me to like my first bad point about the movie. The pacing is actually fucking awful. The movie could have benefited a lot more from like just an extra half hour, honestly. Like I know animation takes a while, but like we'll get to the ending like later. But the main villain, who is Will Ferrell's character, the cockroach, literally he's maybe in like 10 minutes of the movie total. It's not great. Um, yeah, they go into this neighborhood that AVL just like has. So they go into this house, and that's where they live. And they have three minions with them. The rest of them, which I thought Drew, I think that's his brother's name from the third one. I thought Drew took most of them, but I guess they went back and they just hung out. Cause you see Drew at the end. He doesn't have a line. I think it's still Steve Carell voicing him, so it doesn't really matter. But yeah. Anyways, the anti-villain league gives Gru three minions, and the rest are with them. And that's what they make. If you've seen the meme, is the Mega Minions, where I think they're even making a Mega Minions movie, so that should be interesting. So, they make those to like kind of just protect the city while Gru's in hiding, and shenanigans ensue. There's a really funny bit of like one of the minions at like the first day getting trapped in the vending machine, and he's trapped there until like the movie ends, and then it's like locked in like maximum security. It's anyways. So they go there. They have to give fake names and stuff. And Agnes, I think is her name. Agnes, the little kid, doesn't like lying about her name, so she gets in trouble with the karate master later on. And then I don't know if I can remember the middle girl's name, but the middle girl like kind of breaks the karate kid's toe, and I thought they were gonna do something where like, oh, they had to pay him money or something, but no, they just dropped that plot line, which I just forgot. I just remembered it like right now. Um, so they have that. Lucy's, or I guess Blanche is her fake name. She has this hair salon thing because like that's her like backstory, and she messes up this girl's hair. There's a lot of things like another like bad thing about it is they're just doing shit for the first like third of the movie. Like literally the first 35 minutes of the movie, nothing happens. Um, but Gru's with his kid, and yeah, Gru and Lucy had a kid. He doesn't really like him. It's Gru Jr. I'm just call him Junior for the rest of this video. But they go there, and on their way to school to like drop off Margot, they meet like the neighbors. I forgot what their names are, but there's this kid there whose name I also forgot. Let me look it up real quick. Poppy, that was the name. Poppy. Yeah, okay. I also just looked it up. The middle girl's name was Edith, but she doesn't really come into play throughout the rest of the movie. The girls from the first movie were like put on a bit of like a backseat throughout this. It's kind of sad. Um, and I was like one of my worries going into it. You don't really care that much because they were a big part in the first and the second and the third movie too. It's like a point. Um, you can tell like with each movie, like their focus is less and less, but like they still had some moments here that I thought were fun. Mainly just like them hanging out with Poppy, like halfway through the movie. That was nice. Um, but they don't really do much, which is fine. I don't really think they've done much for the plot since the second one. But let's move on. So Gru meets the neighbor and Poppy, and they're like, uh, Poppy's like, I know you're Gru, not like this Jet Cunningham or whatever. So you're gonna stage a heist with me. And he's like, okay. So he brings the baby with him, and to the minions, and they bring the wrong bag. They bring like the baby bag, and they're still able to pull off a heist with it to like steal the badger from like the old school Gru used to go to, and Poppy wants to go there, and she's like, this would look great on my resume. I don't know how stealing the animal mascot will look great on your resume. I mean, they'll probably just kill you, as we learned from Minions too. But there is actually a lot of child-appropriate death in this movie, which I thought was funny, with the Mega Minions, because we swap back to them, and basically they have to go to retirement because each time they save someone, on quotes, they're just like ruining their lives or actually just killing them. Like one of them, like my dad called him Conehead. Um, he like has the power of like basically flight. So he goes up. There's this like guy who's like cleaning off a window, and the thing he was standing on broke, and he was sliding off. And he's like, "I'll help." Grabs the wiper, finishes cleaning the window, hands him back the wiper, pours water on his head. He's like, "All right, bye," and just flies away. That guy definitely died. So they put him on retirement, and they don't come back until the very end. And even then, they don't really have that much of a notable thing. Um, so we pick up back with the cockroach guy and his girlfriend, and he makes a cockroach gun to turn other people into cockroach monsters like him. And his plan is to steal the baby, not like attack his family or anything, because he's mad at Gru. His plan is to steal a baby, which is very smart. So he goes and does that, or tries to go to that. He can't track down Gru though. He's literally searching the entire world. And the reason they find him is Connie and Gru, not Connie. Connie is someone else in the movie. Poppy and Gru actually steal the badger because the Junior loves him, and also now Junior likes Gru. You saw it in the trailer. They solved that plot really quickly, but it was funny. That scene actually had a lot of laughs, and they're trying to tranquilize the badger, and then the tranquilizer like shot gets into Groot's butt, and then he slips, and the liquid goes in, and he can't walk for the rest of the scene. Um, for as much as I like hate giving the negatives of the movie was actually really funny, and it was nice. It was the pacing was really the only bad part. The ending, I think if they choose to end this movie, like they don't make any more, which probably isn't happening. But if they choose to not make any more Minions movies or like Despicable movies, they left it off on a really good ending, where like I think they can just like leave it. I'll get to that in a minute. But then the principal is like, she calls up the cockroach guy and is like, "Hey, I have a location on the badger because there's a tracker in him because of course there is. Go to this house." And they actually got lucky that Poppy, no, I keep saying, yeah, Poppy was the one who has the badger. Um, she goes over to their house to like play with Margot, Ignis, and I forgot the other one now. Um, she goes over to play with them, and then she has the badger in her backpack. So that's how they actually get to the house. They got lucky. Anyways, Gru and Lucy are away hanging out with their neighbors, and they get a text from Margot being like, "Hey, the principal wants to see Gru, and no one refers to you as Gru in this town, so you gotta go home." So they contact the Anti-Villain League to send the Mega Minions, and they fight the principal. And while they fight the principal, Cockroach Guy steals Junior. So Gru, has to go save him because they formed a bond with the son. And during their fight, which by the way, this is like the last 10 minutes of the movie. It's so bad. Um, he turns Junior into a cockroach, and he's about to fall to his death, and he looks at Gru Jr., who's mind controlled, by the way. This shouldn't have worked. He's like, "It's okay. I love you." And he was, like, literally planning to die. Like, not even save his son. Literally just die. The Mega Minions also, they show up later, but they would not have shown up in time to save Gru. No, I don't think they did. Yeah. So... Oh, my computer turned off for a second. Sorry about that. But then, Junior, like, looks at the cockroach guy and is like, "I'm gonna bite you, and I love my dad again." And then he gets fixed at the end of the movie. But, they get captured, and then the best scene happens, which most people have seen. There's a song called "Everybody Wants to Rule the World," which is really good, and it's especially good for Despicable Me because they're doing a talent show with it, because the cockroach guy and Gru made up in the jail, and He's like they started singing "Everybody Wants to Rule the World" to all like the previous villains. There's Vector, there's El Macho, there's Balthazar Brat, there's the couple from Minions, and then like the League of Villains. That's my hero. The League of Villains from Minions too. And then of course the cockroach guy's wife. So they're all singing, and they're singing "Everybody Wants to Rule the World," and it's a great ending. And then it cuts back to them at home with Drew, Doctor Nefario, who's in the movie for like he has one line in the movie. Drew's mom, who doesn't have a single line in the movie, she's just in the background, and then everyone else, and that's how it ends. Um, yeah, it was not a bad movie. It was funny. Um, I actually really liked the acting and animation, even though it didn't look like the animation changed too much. I could tell I think there was a little bit of a higher budget. That could just be me wishing, but it looked good. I would not be disappointed. I also checked rankings on Rotten Tomatoes. If you average out everything, this is rough estimates. This movie places so it goes from best to worst. Despicable Me 2, Minions 2, and this one are tied. Despicable Me 4, and then it's Despicable Me 3 and Minions is the worst. I think Despicable Me 3 is the worst, and Minions is not that bad, but Minions was the only one that had rotten on both of them. So what do I know? So yeah, that was the movie. I'm gonna give it. I'll give it 6 stars. The pacing was really bad, but other than that, I think it was a fine movie and a good entry for Despicable Me. I hope they don't make another one, but if they do make a Mega Minions movie, I'd honestly be pretty hyped for that because the powers are pretty funny. Um, Again, I guess just enjoy. Subscribe. Yeah.